Hello. Hello.
Yes, Ms. Manmeet, good afternoon.
Very good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How about you?
All good.
Just give it a couple of minutes, I guess. As students are also joining up.
No problem. So all the beautiful faces that I see are Team Skylark, or Hina is from Team Skylark for sure. I can recall her face. But rest all our students, or Stravni is also your counselor.
Yes.
Yeah, hi Manmeet, good afternoon.
Hi. Just after we met, this pandemic happened. So
Right. Yes, that so happened, and now we are learning to live along with it.
yeah,
We are learning to live along with it.
exactly. So we've learned something that was due for about, after a decade, we've learned that. So it's good for all of us. We are getting adapted to the new world as needed.
Right. Exactly.
So are we already online on Facebook or yet not?
No, not yet. I'm just connecting it, making it live on Facebook.
No problem. I'll just go unmute and off video for a while and just ping me once I have to switch on both of these. Yeah.
Sure, no issues. And Manmeet, I guess you can share your screen. You can definitely share your screen.
Okay.
Your screen.
Then
So, yeah, probably once, yeah, we are just getting onto Facebook Live now. And
okay. नीचे चला जा Hi, everyone. This is Manmeet from Bradley University, and today we are here on behalf of Skylark Overseas Education. I think we should be waiting for a couple of minutes to join more students with us.
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So thanks to Mr. Satish, Dr. Satish rather, and the team for having us here.
We'll give it a couple of minutes.
Yeah, sure. That's what I believe. So hi, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'll repeat for those who are just joining us. This is Manmeet from Bradley University. I represent South Asia Marketed. I'm looking after the agent management and student recruitment for Bradley University. And today we are here to represent Skylark Overseas Education. Thanks to Skylark Overseas Education based out in Vijayawada. We are Bradley University based in Illinois State. And we are very, very popular for our engineering and IT programs. And with the coming situation, the prevailing circumstances, IT is the only solution for every problem. That's how we are too niche with our computer science, computer information system programs, engineering programs. But before I talk about Bradley University, I would like to tell everyone why one should be opting for Illinois as a study destination. Illinois is, we are basically based out in Midwest region. I'm sorry, there seems to be some network issues. So Illinois is basically in the Midwest region. Now everyone wants to go to either Chicago, Dallas, Texas, New York, New Jersey. Fortunately, or I should rather be saying unfortunately, most of the students, they do not know that Chicago falls in Illinois. And we are just 3.5 hours drive from Chicago. So any student who is convinced on and is an aspirant for Bradley University, you'll have to get down at Chicago Airport, the O'Hare Airport, one of the fourth busiest airport from when we look at the passenger number perspective. So you'll get down at the Chicago Airport. We are in the Midwest region and we are located in Midwest. We are seventh in the Midwest as per US News and World Reports. We are fourth in the regional ranking. So we are not an Ivy League university, not a public university. As I always say, there's no definition of best. The best fit is the best possible option for anyone, be it an education option or whatever. So something that is in the range of a student in terms of their academic scores, their paying capacities, their preferences, their career aspirations, and the career outcomes. The university's networking in terms of their students getting placed into that specific field of education that you're opting for. That is the best fit. The best fit is the definition of best as per me. So, Bradley University, with its preferred programs, is actually having very strong industrial link for the students to make their careers into the related field of education. So when I talk about any specific program, any student, any parents, their first concern or the worry question is my child going to a safe university, a safe region? What is going to be their career outcomes? Are they going to be placed into the similar field of education once completing their degree, or they'll just make their lives in US or UK, wheresoever? So when we're talking about Bradley University and the related popular programs that we're going to talk about today, we have very strong industrial links. So when I say strong industrial links, our students are absorbed by the related industries based within Illinois. That's the most important catch of our students opting for engineering or IT programs. Now coming to, as I was talking about why one should be opting for Illinois, Illinois is a state which is still in the developing mode. Having said this, we are having very good GDP, very good per capita income, just because a lot of industries are placed with their headquarters or satellite offices in Illinois. Very less population, very less land to live. Maximum land is agricultural land in Illinois. But the student headcount is not too high like any husband city, Texas, Dallas, or Chicago, which offers students a lot of opportunities to make their careers into the related field of education. And if I speak in simple language, it's like more opportunities, less competition, faster pace of reaching your career aspirations. So there could be no other best fit for any student when I speak about the chosen state. Then Illinois is just 3.5 Peoria. We are located, our university is located in Peoria region, which is a 3.5 hours drive from Chicago. Students can take a train or can travel by road. However, we always advise take bus because that's economical from students' point of view. Then I'll just start sharing couple of slides. I hope my screen is visible now. So we're Bradley University. Our tagline is mid-sized, big difference. It carries a reason and meaning. We are mid-sized when it comes to our head count, but we make big difference to the student's choice because we offer all the facilities and amenities that a student can dream about, think about landing in a large university. But we are offering them personalized attention with our limited head count. So it's a mid-sized university offering big difference to the students. Just because our enrollment size is only 5,400 students, 5,400 plus, the students are coming from 45 nationalities. So when I'm saying 45 nationalities, actually these students are coming from 45 nationalities. Our students will not land in a university, not land in a university, an option where they'll find all Asian community. We have only 150 international students joining the community with the continuing community every year. So 150 students coming from 45 nationalities, you can think that you are unbound to get mingled with only your community or your nationality students. Rather, you're bound to get mingled with all nationality students, and that's a benefit for you because you're bound to become a global student from day one. We delivered 36 graduate programs, out of which 10 are STEM certified, and 185 undergrad programs, out of which 48 are STEM certified. As I said, we are located in Peoria City. To get you a little acquainted about Peoria, we were originally known as Fort Clark. The city has been named after a tribal group, Peoria tribe. As I was telling you that we have the 12th highest per capita income, which again means an opportunity offering destination, a better wage offering destination for any international student. We are located on the largest, we are a largest city located on the Illinois River. Now, Peoria offers a lot of sculpture garden, collections of fine arts, and that's how we are too niche with our fine arts program at undergrad and grad level. We've been awarded All America City Award 4 times, and the latest was in 2013. In 2007, Forbes ranked Peoria number 47 out of 150 metropolitan areas. Now, letting you a little acquainted about Illinois, we've already talked about the distance and all. The adjoining major cities are St. Louis, which is again 3.5 hours drive from Peoria. We are just 2 hours by flight from New York and Denver, 3.5 hours by flight from Los Angeles and California. As I said, it offers a lot of opportunities for the students and everyone because it's a small urban area. So when I say small urban area, it's an area which is not much developed, still offers a lot of industries and opportunities, and which contributes towards the economy of the country, contributes towards raising the per capita income of of the population and GDP of the state, which is why it acts as heart and pulse of US. So that's how we call it demographic representation, because maximum land is agricultural land, less land to live, lot of opportunity for engineering students in terms of civil, construction, mechanical and manufacturing. It happens to be the 11th wealthiest state out of the 50 states of US. The capital is Springfield, but everybody just knows about Chicago. So we share the boundaries with Kentucky, Missouri, Wisconsin, Michigan. O'Hare Airport, we've already talked. Bradley University, Bradley aspirants would be getting down at Chicago Airport. Barack Obama, he started his political career in Illinois. Famous people from Illinois include US presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, producer Walt Disney. Then GDP is 5th largest, population is 6th largest, and it happens to be the 25th largest land area. Why we are giving this information? To let you know that being a small urban area, it's lot of opportunity offering destination for students. It offers numerous museums, which again contributes towards offering a lot of fine arts programs. Most of the universities in Illinois offer very good fine arts programs, and we at Bradley are too niche with our fine arts program at both undergrad and grad level. Illinois happens to be the leader of music education for the reason lot of music forms have been originated from Illinois, and our undergrad programs for music are very niche. Just to let you acquainted with some cities of Illinois, you need to know that Springfield is the capital. Bloomington, Rockford are some of the popular cities. Chicago, everybody knows. That's how we appear on the US map. And as I said, we are in the Midwest region and 7th in the Midwest region for those who've just joined in. And if you see the right-hand side, that's how we appear within Illinois. That's the political map of Illinois. And Springfield is almost in the mid. That's beautiful campus of Bradley University. We are scattered on 84 acres of campus. This is where we relate the mid-sized big difference tagline. So the head count is just 5,400 plus. Those who've just joined, 5,400 plus head count student scattered on a campus of big 84 acres is a huge land. That means you're talking about any facilities, amenities that's available on campus. The campus is always busy with fun activities because we have more than 250 clubs for students, from sports community to any specific, religion specific community. Every community has their kind of clubs there. These are some pictures from the beautiful campus of Bradley University. If you see the right top, that's Linda Moss Bradley. The university has been named on her name, and this statue is standing there since 1965. And these days we have a Bradley cloth mask, which is put on this campus, this statue. We are offering that mask to all the students. Most important thing, the new $100 million building, we call it Business and Engineering Convergence Center. It carries a lot of value for the students because it's a collaborative initiative in terms of delivering education from two different departments, offering insight of two different departments to a specific student. To explain it little better, all our business programs are delivered under Foster College of Business. All our engineering programs are delivered under Caterpillar College of Engineering and Technology. Now, these students, we know most of the business students, if they're coming from engineering backgrounds, they pick up a couple of modules from engineering, and most of the engineering students, they pick up couple of business or finance modules. In the earlier times, there were two different buildings. Foster College of Business was a different building, and Caterpillar College of Engineering and Technology was a different building. Students used to just go to the different department, take the lectures and come back. However, now with this new initiative, which is Business and Engineering Convergence Center, both the departments are clubbed into one building. That means students of both the departments, both the schools, have access to the libraries, to the tools and equipments, to the professors, lecturers, and students. They can have a close watch and close interaction with these departments. So we can understand if $100 million have been invested in a building, it carries a lot of value for the students. Coming to the reasons why one should be opting for Bradley University, as we've already talked, that those who've just joined, I'll repeat, we are 7th in the Midwest, 4th in the regional, and all the rankings that I'm talking about are coming from US News and World Report, no heavy rankings. Times Higher Education has given us 87 scores on a scale of 100, which is again commendable. Niche.com has placed us fairly well for our student satisfaction rate. Then we ranked top school for among the private institutions for student engagement. So student engagement is very important in terms of offering them the right essence of the program that they're going to study. We are number one in Illinois for finding jobs because of our strong industrial networking. I must let you know that we are partnered with more than 200 industry players, and no XYZ industry players, but related to the programs that we're delivering. They visit our campus twice a year to offer job opportunities to the students. As per payscale.com, we are out of the top 20 salary boosting schools because the salary range of graduates in Illinois is usually between $30,000 per annum to $105,000 per annum. However, Bradley graduates, they get to earn about $56,800 within 6 months to 1 year after completing their degrees, which is actually 66% higher than the average median range. So that's how we are number one in Illinois for finding the jobs as well. The popular employers out of the 100 industry players who visit our campus, the top employers where our students actually go for their internships, part-times, their co-ops, and are usually absorbed by them for their full-time jobs as well post completion of the degrees are Caterpillar Tractor Company, Belson, Apple, OSF Healthcare, and etc. We'll talk about a couple of more in the following slides. So we are out of top 15 amongst the best value in the region. 98% of our graduates have outcomes, which actually means they get placed into the similar field of education, which is very important factor for any student or their parents to finalize on any university. 96% of our students gain real world experience because most of the programs have incorporated internships or co-ops, project works. 95% of our graduates are employed. When I say are employed, means they actually get employed within 6 months of their completion of their degrees and getting placed with the right kind of designations that they should be getting post completion of the degrees. We have 7 schools, but for the Asian community, primarily these 5 schools are popular. Caterpillar College of Engineering and Technology, Foster College of Business and Administration, Slane College of Communication and Fine Arts, Health School, and then Liberal Arts and Science School. We'll talk about each of them. I mean, we'll brief little about each of them. The most popular program, school amongst students, specifically Asian community, is Caterpillar College of Engineering and Technology. For the simple reason, we're delivering 5 programs under this school. And all these 5 programs are ABET accredited in STEM as well. Now, the catch here is out of these 5 STEM programs, that's civil engineering, electrical, industrial, manufacturing, and mechanical, only electrical engineering requires GRE. So for rest, all you just need to meet our academic requirement and English proficiency requirement. GRE is needed only for electrical engineering, I repeat. I'll talk about the specific requirement in the coming slides. Now, why this school is most important? Because the most popular, I should be saying, because we have strong industrial links. Most of the students going for these programs, one, these are STEM programs. That means it offers 5 years of legal stay in the country to the students with 2 years of course duration, 1 year of OPT, and 24 months of additional OPT for STEM students. So with 5 years of legal stay and strong industrial links, your internship opportunities with the related industries, it offers you hands-on experience, personalized attention, and it somewhere, cultivates that learning culture, what is needed with the industry demands. Because these programs are designed and reframed every 3 months as per the industry demands. Now, you are going for a program which is offering you hands-on learning and offering you your experiences and internships in the related industry who are happy to absorb you for your full-time and part-time jobs. That's the biggest catch for students opting for programs offered under Caterpillar College of Engineering and Technology under Bradley University. Now the advantages, 90% of our students participate in internships, practical scopes, which I already said. Our engineering school is out of the top 30 in the whole of US. So we are talking about 3,500 to 4,000 odd colleges and universities within US, and we are out of top 30, which is again, to be considered for. And when I talk about within the state, within the Illinois state, we are number 1 for our engineering programs. Then 96% of our students have career outcome rates. 100% of our students complete a real world professional level capstone project. It is basically advised by the member of engineering faculty, where you get in touch with the real-time professionals in the industry within the related companies based out within Illinois. So offers you networking prospect for your part-time jobs and full-time jobs. Under our Foster College of Business and Administration, we have 3 programs. Primarily, our market is for MBA and MSA, which is Masters of Science in Accounting. Now, these 2 programs we're not offering to fresh graduates. We need 2 years of work experience. Somebody coming with 1.75 or 1.5 years of experience can be considered case by case, depending on if they are actually in the initial phase of their careers, if they are into the mid-management, and have very high academic and English proficiency scores than the requirement. Slane College of Communication and Arts, we are delivering fine arts program. I told you we are very niche with the fine art program at undergrad and grad level because of the nature, the availability within Illinois in terms of sculptures and museums and fine art, lot of things. Now, the other catch is students opting for programs offered under Slane College of Communication and Arts. They get to have an opportunity to study a Hollywood semester in Los Angeles. This can be in Milan as well, but it depends. Usually students opt for Los Angeles Hollywood semester because of the cost effectiveness. Now, our students have participated in remarkable 44 Emmy Awards, 3 Academy Awards. These students have not only participated for their internships and project works, but have actually been awarded as well. The school has been awarded, a lot of professors and alumni, students have been awarded. That's the kind of exposure that this specific school offers. And if we talk about the programs that we are delivering under Slane College of Communication and Arts, be it theater, music, arts, all the programs are accredited by the highest accreditation commission of that specific field. We hardly have any specific inquiries from South Asia for the programs mentioned on this slide under College of Education and Science. However, these programs must care for the foreign education. We do not deliver public health or health administration. However, we are delivering Masters of Arts in Counseling, Clinical Mental Health Counseling. So actually this program will offer these students to be working as counselors in the health clinics with mental health disability people, old age, or children with these kind of disabilities. Somebody coming with a lot of education experience, teaching experience can be offered Masters of Arts in Counseling, Professional School Counseling. Students coming with social work background can be offered Masters of Arts in non-profit leadership. This is again another important school after Caterpillar College of Engineering and Technology, the Liberal Arts and Science School. This school offers other STEM programs like biology, chemistry. Now, MS chemistry is also there, MA chemistry is also there. MS biochemistry, computer science, computer information system. These are very niche programs. From down south, we have a lot of students wanting to opt for computer science and computer information system programs. Masters of Science in Computer Science is a plain MS degree. However, when we talk about computer information system, that's a blend of IT and computer systems. Then on this slide, only out of the 5 programs that I'm saying are STEM, only 3 programs need GRE. One is computer science, then is computer information system, and then MS biology. Now, why one should be opting for Bradley University? We've already talked about the rankings, the industrial links and all. At the same point of time, our tuition fee structure is quite affordable. Students, we are still open to have applications for fall 20 if somebody is fine opting for online delivery mode. So when I'm talking about online delivery mode, you are not bound to study a full semester online. You can pick up a couple of courses, be it undergrad or grad students, just to keep the rhythm of your degree flowing. And we're very hopeful for spring 21. The consulate should be opening some good news for by October or November. So should be fine and back to normal by spring 21. And you can continue in the spring with your second semester and with your respective courses for first semester as well. Sorry, now students opting for fall 21 would be required to pay undergrad fee of $34,200 per annum. But students who would be opting for spring 21 admissions, the fee has been increased to $35,060 per annum. Similarly, grad tuition fee at the moment is $910 per credit, those opting for fall 20. For spring 21, it is going to be $930 per credit. So which makes technically, basically we have 9 credits per semester. So for grad, we talk about credit tuition fee because most of the programs are 30 credits, 2 years. But when we talk about the popular engineering and IT programs, these are usually 33 to 34 credits. Then our USPs are small classroom sizes. So no class is beyond 20 to 21 students. Our student faculty ratio is fantastic. It's 12:1. So that means for every 12 students, we have a faculty to support them, which offers them personalized, attention. It's kind of hand holding and tuition mentorship that we're delivering to the students. All our engineering and IT programs are ABET accredited. The business school is AACSB accredited, which is the highest accrediting commission for business programs. Now, all the programs, we are again talking about why we should be opting for Bradley University apart from the affordability, the rankings, the USPs. We offer world-class faculty. Our faculties, most of the faculties are PhDs. We are out of the top Illinois University as per US News and World Reports. Then we are offering a lot of financial assistance in the form of scholarships. We offer scholarships ranging from $4,000 to $17,000 for undergrad students. That's based on academic and SAT scores. To grad students, we are offering huge scholarships, and grad scholarships are based only on academic scores. We offer 2 terms, fall and spring. Having said this, we accept applications on rolling basis. That means if you ask me, are the applications open for spring term? Most of the universities have yet not opened. We are open and happy to accept spring 21 applications as well at this point of time. Now, if you are an aspirant for Bradley University and are a qualified student, even if the deadlines are gone, you're ready with the prerequisites. When I say prerequisites, in terms of, see, if you're a qualified students, you're not only qualified in terms of matching the academic requirements. You need to have a SAT and English proficiency if you are an undergrad student. If you're a grad student, you would require GMAT or GRE for certain programs. English proficiency test is needed for all the programs. So if you're ready with the prerequisites, and if you think your family can arrange the financial need, we are happy to accept the applications even beyond the deadlines. Talking about the entry requirements, we need a minimum of 2.5 GPA, a preferred 3.0 for all academic programs, be it undergrad or grad. We need an IELTS score of 6.5 overall, or a 79 of TOEFL, or a 58 in the PT. And the fourth option that has recently come up as an acceptance during the pandemic is E3 PT test, which is again an English proficiency test. We need a 68 score in that. Now, when I'm talking about the overall requirements, we are actually looking at only overall scores, not the sub-module scores. All our undergrad programs need a mandatory SAT score. We need a SAT score of 1000. However, something in 900s can be acceptable depending on your higher academic or English proficiency scores or other achievements of the undergrad students. GRE, we've already talked, is needed for 4 programs: computer science, computer information systems, and biology from the Liberal Arts School, electrical engineering from the Caterpillar College of Engineering and Technology. We need a minimum of 288 and a preferred 300 GRE score. Be 288 or 300, but we mandatorily require a minimum of 140 in the quant, 140 in the verbal. GMAT is needed for 2 programs, MBA and MSA. As I said, MBA and MSA require 2 years of work experience. All our graduate programs require a mandatory 16 years education. This 16-year education can be a graduation plus 1 year of PG diploma, plus or a graduation plus first year of master's done in India. But it has to be a 16 years education. It is only MBA where we can accept 15 years of education. Then GMAT can be waived off in case of MBA under 2 circumstances. One, a student is coming with 4, 5, more years of work experience than 2. Could be a mid-management or managerial experience. That's case-by-case acceptance. Or somebody coming with technical background. That means a student coming with engineering background would have taken a GRE in advance before visiting any consultant's office. We would not need this student to take another aptitude test, that is GMAT. We can accept a GRE of 300 for MBA program as well. As I said, we are offering huge scholarships to grad students. So we need a preferred GPA of 3.0. As I said, a minimum of 2.5 can be acceptable for many programs. A student ranging between a GPA of 3.25 to 3.74. That means from Asian context, 62 to 80% from a tier 1 university in India. We can offer these students a grad merit scholarships. So you don't have to apply for these scholarships if you are a meritorious student. By default, your application, your offer letter would come through mentioning the scholarship. So undergrad merit scholarships, we are offering 10% on tuition fee. Students ranging between a GPA of 3.75 to 4.0, we offer them grad excellence scholarship, which is worth 25% on tuition fee. So this is a scholarship which is offshore scholarship. You don't have to apply for it. If you're eligible, you will be announced and offered about this. However, grad assistantship is something about which your consultant, I can here guide you about. You have to go and grasp this. Although there's an application, if you log on to the website, there's an application for grad assistantship, but 99.9% you're not offered. You have to be exceptionally exemplary performing student to having grasped it on offshore. You have to grasp it onshore because grad assistantship is about assisting a professor. So how will you assist a professor? They need to map you, they need to gauge you that you are the right kind of student. And what are the parameters to understand that you are the right kind of student? You should have been absorbed into the new teaching methodology for yourself, should be performing very well for yourself, should be good at delivering the program to other students. That's how you'll be assisting a professor. And if that happens by God's grace, and if you are able to work for 20 hours per week, that is assisting a professor, you get 100% tuition reduction. And if you manage to do it 10 hours per week, you get 50% tuition reduction. The average part-time earnings, that means the average wages that you get in Peoria region, are ranging from $17 to $21 per hour. The popular companies that are happy to absorb our students for the part-time jobs, and trust me, once you're good at building your networking and you're performing very well with these companies, they're too happy, more than happy to absorb you for your full-time jobs post completion of the degree. These are a couple of pictures from our campus. If you see the right top, that's the $100 million building inaugural ceremony, which held on 15th of October 2019. If you see the right top, that's our sports and gymnasium facilities. Down left is our cafeteria. We offer a lot of opportunities from Indian food to vegetarian food to Starbucks and CCD, on campus food apps, lot of facilities in terms of your food and all. If I talk about the housing facilities, we have 12 halls of residence on campus, which include the halls of residence and apartments. This includes single occupancy, double occupancy, shared accommodation, suite, apartments kind of accommodation, whatever. As I started with this statement that there is no definition of best. Best fit is not always what you prefer to be staying, but what is under your affordability and your paying capacity as well. But if I give you a gist and crux of your expenses, which can be boarding and lodging in Illinois, in Peoria, because it's a small urban area, not too expensive for any student. So a grad student would end up spending no more than about $5,000 to $6,000 per annum on boarding lodging. At the same point of time, any undergrad student would end up spending about $7,000 to $7,500 per annum on boarding and lodging. Now, the pictures that you see are not sourced from Google, but are real housing and residential facilities, what we offer to the students on campus. This is some brushing up of all that we've discussed for the students who've just joined us. So 100% of our students complete at least 2 documented real world experiences. That is how they build up their networking for their part-time jobs, full-time jobs. We are out of the top 20 salary boosting schools as per Brookings Institution. So when I say out of top 20, I'm just repeating for the students who've just joined us. Top 20 salary boosting schools, because we are #1 in Illinois for finding jobs, and our students managed to earn 56% higher than the average median salary as any graduate who has just completed the degree 6 months back or a year back. 93% of our students have their career outcomes because most of the industries are related to the kind of programs that we deliver, and our students get placed into those industries, those companies for their part-time jobs, for their internships, for their co-ops, for their project works. 96% is the knowledge rate. Why 96% is the knowledge rate, knowledge outcome after graduating? Because we haven't offered them the pen and paper knowledge. We have offered them the real, we are too popular for offering them the industry need education and knowledge with their projects and their assignments, which are in conjunction, which are designed in conjunction with the industries which are related to the programs. These are my contact details. You can screenshot those students visiting us, but you always need to let me know that you have approached Skylark and you are a lead or a student from Skylark. I'll stop sharing and then you can start asking the questions that you have. Hina or Stravni, you'll have to help me copy those questions that we can see on Facebook page here, because I can just see the Zoom page.
Sure, sure.
I'll start answering to the questions of students that are there. I hope this was an informative session for the students. Yes, I missed on the application fee thing. Undergrad, it's free of cost. You can do it through the online portal or through the website, but we always advise you do it through the website, because then your consultant and I can immediately track and let you know what's happening with the application. For grad, we charge $50. I'll repeat for those who've just joined us. We offer two terms, spring and fall. For spring, our deadlines are 15th of October. For fall, our deadlines are 15th of May. Having said this, we accept applications on rolling model. That means we can accept applications even beyond the deadlines. So Hina, you can let me know what are the questions of students that they've posted on Facebook.
Yeah, Manvik, like I have a small question, like regarding the English proficiency. You said
Certainly.
about like TOEFL, IELTS, and PT. Like, is Bradley accepting the Duolingo test?
No, we are not. We're not. At least at the moment, we are not.
Okay.
I would like to ask, are there any students who are watching us happy to go ahead with online delivery mode for fall 2020? If so, we are happy to accept applications at this point of time as well.
Okay.
We have a question from Ali.
Okay.
He says, like, he's asking if are there any scholarships for Pakistani students?
Ali, first of all, thanks for joining us, and I hope you're keeping safe and healthy. So when you talk about Pakistani students, from a foreign university perspective, you are an international student. And I've already spoken about the international students scholarship scheme. You are an undergrad or a grad student. Could you help us with that, Ali? I'll repeat our scholarship policy accordingly. So I'll just say, if you are an undergrad student, the scholarship is ranging from $4,000 to $17,000, depending on your academic and SAT scores. And if you're a grad student, we have 3 kinds of scholarships. One is grad merit scholarships, which is for students who have their GPA ranging between a GPA of 3.25 to 3.74. We call it grad merit scholarship. It's worth 10% on tuition fee. Then the other category is grad excellence scholarship. It's worth 25% for students ranging between a GPA of 3.75 to 4.0. And the third is grad assistantships. You have to grasp it onshore. We can guide you what it needs. It needs you to have to be a very strong in terms of your academic strength. You should be good at building your networking once you're onshore. And then you should be good at adopting yourself to the new pedagogy there, scoring well, and should be good at mentoring other students. And if you are good at building up your networking with the professors, you could be picked up for that. And it is like if you manage to support the professors for 20 hours per week, it's called full-time in foreign context. You can be given 100% on your tuition fee. That's 100% reduction. So you'll not be paid anything basically. You'll be supported. It's kind of part-time job. But then for that part, in return of that part-time job, you'll be given 100% tuition reduction. And if you manage to work 10 hours per week, you'll be given 50% tuition reduction. And over and above this, we'll offer you stipends as well, which will be offered semester-wise, not on daily wages or weekly basis. Any further questions, Ravni?
Yeah, Manvik, just give us a moment, like we'll get.
Yeah.
Ms. Manmeet, could you comment on the delivery mode or how the university is transitioning from a blended or an online learning mode into an on-campus mode, especially for spring? How Bradley is preparing to welcome students for spring, just in case, if in case fall 2020 is going to be a blended or a complete online delivery mode.
See, it's fall 2020 is a complete online mode. However, as I said, we suggest a student can pick up as many number of modules. I mean, the maximum number of modules that they want to pick up. But our suggestion is they should be in the momentum of continuing with their education and not wasting the time. So they can just enroll and pick up couple of maybe 1 or 2 courses online, so that they are still they've started the session. And then in the spring, they go for second semester and complete their previous courses. So talking about any policies or something, I think if any university or any college announces, that would be little hypothetical. Why? Because there's still dialogues going on between the universities and the governments. And there is no clarity on the things, but yes, internally being part of the university, I can foresee that things should be back to normalcy by October or November, and spring should be fine for students to join the campus.
Okay, Ms. Manmeet, one more question that I'm frequently getting, that we are probably getting a lot from students.
Yeah, what is that? Hello?
Sorry. Yeah. Can you hear me, Manmeet?
Yeah, I can.
Yes. International students are subject to a mandatory quarantine or self-isolation period, right? So, yeah, this is something that many countries are following.
I'll tell
Right.
you, Dr. Satish. This will again be little hypothetical talking about it for spring 20 at the moment. We don't know what will be the situation in spring 21. Could be a possibility vaccines are already there. Could be a possibility a lot of new tests come up that a student has to go, going on an international student visa. They would have to take those reports, COVID reports, and some other additional test reports along with them going before, or probably a certificate saying that you've already taken the vaccine. So we talking anything about future at the moment, I think is little hypothetical. And when you talk about the being quarantined on campus or off campus, it is again going to be little hypothetical at the moment. But yes, from couple of universities, because my university has not come up with any policy, because as I said, there are a lot of dialogues happening between universities and the governments at the moment. But from other universities, and what I hear is you could be quarantined in any of the regions of the US. You need not be compulsorily getting quarantined on that specific state where you're landing in, or the city where you're landing in, or in the on campus you're landing in. So that's again what we hear about. But talking about any specific policy in place in spring at the moment is little hypothetical, because there is no specific announcement from the governments or the universities at the moment. I
One more
hope I've been
question.
able to answer rightly what you're expecting.
Yeah, pretty much. One more question that we are getting a lot from students, I guess, is a lot of confusion going on. Now, a lot of students actually are asking us whether they can, for example, if they start their semester, fall semester online, and come on campus, I mean, expecting that they would be arriving on campus in spring 2021. Will they be eligible for the internship, summer internship in 2021? This is actually a very confusing question that many students are actually asking, and they're all getting different answers from, I don't know, from various sources.
Very good
Could you throw some
question.
light onto this?
See, when you talk about OPT and all, this is the dialogue that is happening between the universities and the governments at the moment. This is what universities are fighting with the governments at the moment. That our students who are, I mean, I'm not talking about Bradley in specific. What I'm trying to say is that's the concern of the universities, because even they want international students to be joining them soonest possible with some policies in place. And that is the fight where they're wanting that the online delivery mode should have no negative impact on the OPT. And that is how I believe when I suggested a student should enroll and should opt for minimum courses from here. Because I'm sure this should uh, give some positivity to their profiles in terms of not giving any negative impact on the OPT and the internships. Because with my recent conversation with the provost just in the last week, that's what I've said, that we should be making sure during the dialogues with the university, that when our students are opting for online programs from here, online courses from here, the lack of practical exposure that they're facing, even when they're wanting to join online, it should be covered when they're on campus. And that is the reason that I'm suggesting that enroll for your first semester, but pick up minimum courses. That is just 1 or 2 courses from here. So that you're going for the second semester, but at the same point of time, you're still studying your previous courses there during your second semester. And this will help them not, this will somewhere help them not lacking in their internships and all. So just get them understand that enroll for your first semester, but pick up minimum courses to be joined from here.
Any benefit or any benefit that they'll probably get, if in case they enroll for, let's say 1 or 2 courses in fall, and will that boost their visa chances? Will that actually improve their visa probability or
Yes,
visa chances?
certainly. See, with my experience of 12 plus years into this industry, and I'm sure you're coming with more than mine, this always helps the high commissions to understand that this student is committed to the program or the course and the university that he or she has enrolled for. This student is not just landing on in any XYZ country just to land as a student on a student visa, but has some real career aspirations and is very focused about the program that he or she is wanting to go to study for. Because this student is not just waiting for another 6 months or 1 year just for the things to get back to normal. Because when we are talking about the negative impact of COVID, it's not only in the US, not only in the UK, not only in the Canada, but it's a global impact. So if they are giving a pause to their education for US, that means they have actually given a pause to their careers being in any part of the world. If they're not enrolling for the US program, that means they're not doing anything. This means the student is not very focused. This student, with the current, I mean, with the kind of world we are living in, you need to be moving little faster than than your normal pace. We see a lot of students at the age of 15 or 16 doing their 12th, and in my times it was only either somebody has to be 17 or 18 years of old age to complete their 12th. Many students used to complete their 12th even at the age of 19, but now that is not the case. So if a student is joining online program, that means the student is so committed and so focused about their program and the course that they've chosen. I personally believe this. I would like you to throw any light on this if you want to.
I guess you answered the question perfectly. Yeah, certainly it is. We felt that it's definitely going to improve the chances. Also, students who actually enrolls online, I'm sure that that it will also give him an opportunity to to experience Bradley University firsthand. So I'm sure that will
True,
also
true.
improve his visa chances.
Certainly, and they would get because our students, fortunately or unfortunately, although the education system says that it is on the verge of change now, but with the kind of education we've been raised, it's too much of hand holding and it's all mugging up. It's all rote system. So if they've studied couple of courses online here, it would not be a challenge for them to be onshore, because that's a challenge for any student, be it any country, any program, any level, undergrad or grad. Initial phase is always challenging for students to get adapted to the new pedagogy, but they would have already adopted and absorbed with the system what they need to be get into the system there. They'll get acquainted to the system even beforehand. So this will again help them.
Yeah, I guess maybe I think here you might have a question that you from one of the students.
I think I have a couple of questions on the chat box. Let me see. Uh, do you only offer for undergrad and postgraduate? No, we offer, you're talking about, yes, PhD. Okay, if you're talking about PhD, yes, we don't offer PhD. We just have one doctoral program. That too is not too popular from Asian, Asian aspirants, I must say. If you're offering, tell me something about the requirements. Okay, this is somebody, Hari Krishna, who's just joined, I think. Uh, if you're talking about the requirements, all our undergrad and grad programs need an academic requirement of a minimum of 2.5, which is technically between 55 to 58%, depending on the kind of university, the level of university you're coming from. And from undergrad context, it's for you're coming from state board or national board or IBs, IB level or O levels or A levels. So it depends on that, 2.5 to 3 GPA. That's for undergrad and grad both. And all our undergrad programs need a mandatory SAT score of 1000. We may look at considering something in the 900s if a student has higher academic and English proficiency scores. We need mandatory IELTS of 6.5 or a TOEFL of 79 or a PT of 58. So we are just considering the overall scores, not the submodules. And if you are a grad student, we, along with the academic and English proficiency score, we would need a GRE for a couple of programs. We would need GMAT for about 2 programs. You need to tell me which specific course are you aiming at. So, hi Hari Krishna, I would like to know what level of program are you aiming at and which specific program are you aiming at?
Uh, PhD in genetics.
I'm sorry, we don't offer PhD.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the session.
And in fact, genetics is not something that we're offering at grad level as well, although we offer genetics at undergrad level.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Do we have
Manvik.
more? Yeah.
Yeah, Manvik, like I have a small question. Like for MSA program, you said like you require like, at least like 2 years of experience. Is it
Yeah.
like a relevant experience, or any person with other stream also can apply for the program?
See, depends with what kind of academic background a student is coming. If a student is, let's say, a plain BA or a BCom student wanting to go for MBA. Now, under MBA, we have basically two concentrations, business administration and finance administration. So, if somebody is coming with BCom and is wanting to go ahead with finance administration, you can't come with an executive or salesperson work experience. It has to be related. But however, if you're wanting to go ahead with generic business administration degree, you may come up with any kind of work experience. Now, this work experience, yes, I must tell you that recommendation letters are also needed. So, I mean, I hope you understand being coming from the supporting students into the related field. So every case is an individual case. What kind of resume a student is putting up, what kind of JD somebody has put their KPIs in the resume, and what kind of concentration they are picking up. So if you are exhibiting in your resume that you've been handling a team of, let's say, 4 or 5 people, you've been a team leader kind, you've been into a team leader kind of role, and then you're putting up your recommendation letter coming from an executive, would not make sense. So it has to be in sync with what you're providing, what kind of resume, the KPIs you're providing, what kind of academic background you're putting up. On the contrary, somebody coming with BTech or BN work experience, qualification and related work experience, uh, would want to go ahead with, I'm sure, it has to be something related. So not any heavy experience for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And I must let you know, when it comes to MBA and MSA, apart from the SOP and recommendation letters, these students have to add an additional achievement essay. So achievement letter is not something SOP, because SOP just says why this course, why this university, why this country, how is this course bridging up with their previous qualification and their career aspirations. But the achievement letter should talk about their achievements into the achievements in terms of their academic achievements beyond the beyond the academic profile that they're presenting. So achievement could be their some kind of appreciations at the workplace during their qualification. So we have a question coming from Mr. Mahesh Reddy. Does your IELTS score play any role in getting an on-campus job? Not really, but yes, you're going to an English-speaking country, so your good communication skills, your proficiency in understanding the accent, and your proficiency in responding to the accent can certainly help you give the right kind of jobs. Now, if I give you an example, somebody getting a job at McDonald's or Starbucks or Domino's. So someone not good at their communication skills would be chopping vegetables or washing dishes at the back end. On the contrary, somebody with the right kind of senses and good spoken skills and good listening skills can be put at the reception, at the counter, can be a cashier. So it just depends. You could be a team leader who is handling everybody. You could be a storekeeper handling people under you at the back end. So English score doesn't help, but your proficiency, your skill certainly helps in getting you the right kind of jobs. And getting a job on campus is something I believe anybody giving a response, a positive response on this is not the right kind of response. Yes, if you are the right candidate and somebody who has grasped the right opportunity at the right point of time, you can certainly get jobs on campus. But giving any assurance about it is a wrong response, I believe. You can, on campus jobs are kind of jobs. You could be a brand ambassador for the students, wearing a t-shirt and cheering out students, during new semesters. You could be a student supporting, as I said, grad assistantship is kind of on-campus job. You get a job in the cafeteria on campus is an on-campus job. You assisting somebody in the library is an on-campus job. But giving any assurance about on-campus job is a wrong response or a wrong information. Hina, Sravani, or Dr. Satish, would you like to add anything to this?
Not really, Manmeet. I believe you've answered it, absolutely on dot. Regarding when maybe most people feel that, that the IELTS score is just a test of proficiency. But maybe, maybe they think that IELTS score actually, in fact, is perhaps a certification kind of thing. But I believe that it's not a certification. It's a proficiency examination that is required since you're coming from a non-English speaking country. So, I mean, ultimately, for an on-campus job, it's all about your skills and your, of course, communication skills.
Yeah.
It can be your people skills. So, I feel that, that is more appropriate. And I mean, from my experience, I believe most of our Indian students are good at tutoring.
Yeah.
They're very good at tutoring. So, I'm sure a lot of people actually have a lot of Indians because Indians are natural with math. So, and a lot of, undergrad students, in fact, require math tutoring. So I believe that's
yeah. Specifically from your down south, they're good at tutoring. But when I talk about the North Indians, we are good at marketing. We can prove anyone that I can be the biggest asset to you if you pick me up. So that is again something that offers them a job, offering them a job not at an executive level, but at a mid-management level. I hope I haven't lost the connection.
No, you're pretty much online, Manmeet.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Do we have more questions on Facebook? Because fortunately or unfortunately, I only have access to our Zoom page. Well, you could probably copy and paste those questions so that I can answer the students.
No.
Not really, Manmeet.
No problem. And those who would go through this session later on, I'll be happy to answer the questions on comments as well on the Facebook page.
Certainly.
I can do that as well, yeah?
Certainly. The recording and actually the entire conversation is being recorded. So with your permission, of course, we also want to put it on our YouTube channel.
Certainly, please.
We'll also put it on our YouTube channel. Certain that that whatever queries or questions or whatever engagements we get will be directed to you.
Yeah.
Certain that is going to be.
I'll be happy to have more and more aspirants for Bradley University from Skylark.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
In fact, with this recorded session, we might get the qualified aspirants. In fact.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, I have another question coming from Mahesh Reddy. Sorry, Dr. Satish, I'm interrupting.
That's okay. No
How
problem,
safe is university campus and area around? Very good question. Sorry, because I missed this information. I heard about some burglaries from the students there. Not really. I must let you know that we have a 24 hours police on campus. And then if you talk about the security, from the evening, soon the sunlight is gone. We have pavements lit with lights. And especially we have on-duty night Bradley police security. So if you talk about some burglaries from the students there, are you talking in specific about Bradley University, Peoria region, or Illinois? Before even getting the answer, I must let you know. Burglaries and dacoits and robberies are actually anywhere and everywhere. It's just about something that is recorded and comes in the news sections. So it happens anywhere and everywhere. In fact, when students talk about racism and all, I always say, isn't it here in India? Don't we say these are Siddhas, these are Gujus, these are Tamilians, these are South Indians, North Indians? I just spoke in one of my conversations a minute ago. So it's anywhere and everywhere. It's just about just exaggerating the thing somewhere. So I think if you talk about security, certainly Bradley University happens to be a safe area. The good point is, as I said, if you are with us since I started, it's a small urban area with very less population, and just 10 institutions or universities delivering qualification to international students. So handful of international students, very less populated, less from the husband of any city, and offering you a lot of museums and sculptures and fine arts, the nature and serenity, I should say. So it's not something like there's a lot of robberies or insecure place. It is certainly a safe place with very less population. In fact, you'll find more better place to live. India is too populated. I hope I've been able to answer you, Mr. Mahesh Reddy.
Yes, I think so. I believe student is happy with the answer. Racism or insecurity is just a matter of perception, I believe.
Actually, it's anywhere and everywhere. If you actually,
it is exactly.
Yeah.
It is there.
So
Perfect, I guess.
thank you for everyone who joined us. Thanks to Team Skylark for having me here.
So much, Manmeet. Thanks for your time. You spent a lot of time. I believe it's about an hour and 15 minutes.
No problem.
Thanks
I'm
so
happy.
much. Thanks so much for your wonderful insights into Bradley University. I'm sure the recording would be definitely giving us getting us more and more qualified students.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for
Thank
the
you.
best.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much,
everyone.
Manmeet.
Have a great evening. Stay safe, stay healthy. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Manmeet.
so much, ma'am.
Thank
It
you,
was very
everyone.
informative, actually.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.